Boba Fett ruins Star Wars. Now, if you are a fan of my channel, you know I don't do a lot of videos on Star Wars because this channel is about being anti-woke. But this issue is definitely a woke one. Hello, welcome to my channel. I am the Anti-Woke Warrior. If you like challenging all things woke, then keep coming back to my channel. Please watch to the very end. That seems to help the algorithm, as does sharing the video. You can also find me on Twitter. I don't tweet very much, but I do retweet a lot of other things that I find on there that I like. Now, why does Boba Fett ruin Star Wars? Boba Fett, of course, is just awesome. And I've heard George Lucas say in an interview, he does not understand why fans are so fond of Boba Fett. Really? You don't know why people who like Star Wars are so fond of Boba Fett? Maybe it's because he outwitted and was instrumental in hunting down the biggest badass in the galaxy that isn't already a Jedi and getting him captured by the Empire.
Plus, you look cool.
That's right, Chandler. Plus, he looks cool. He really does he has the best character design out of any character in the original trilogy. The only rivals are Lando Calrissian in Jabba's palace and Princess Leia in Jabba's palace. Either costume that she was in when she was in Jabba's palace, both of those are equally as awesome, but for very different reasons. So Boba Fett, fan favorite. Just look at him. Look how cool he looks. He's awesome. He's total badass. The thing is, we're bubble wrapping the world with this Slave One thing. Disney dropped Slave One name for Boba Fett's ship, prompting outcry from Star Wars fans actor. Let's see what this article has to say. For several years now, Disney and Lucasfilm have worked to evolve the Star Wars universe, diversifying the casts of the most recently cinematic trilogy and spin-offs like Rogue One and The Mandalorian. No, they were already diverse. You're right, the original Star Wars was not diverse. They had only white people in it. At a time when this country, the United States, was more than 80% white, okay? On top of which, then you get into Empire Strikes Back. We all know there's, Lando Calrissian is not white. And this trend has continued since then. And adding prominent LGBTQ characters to comics and novels, which should be illegal. Not because LGBTQ characters should be shunned or ostracized or anything, but they're doing it for woke points, not for the sake of the story. It's fine, speak your mind. I get it. Freedom of speech. I'm not saying get rid of freedom of speech. I'm saying there should be punishments for the people who push this stuff, who force it on us. I don't care if you want to talk about it. I don't care if it's out there in artwork and in media. But if you're doing it just to force it on me, that should be something that we address. And it's that way with everything, with diversity of any kind. The focus on what Disney CEO Bob Chapek calls universal values even led to the dismissal of Mandalorian cast member Gina Carano over a series of controversial tweets, including one suggesting a backlash to contrarian political views that tantamount to the way Juice was targeted during World War II, right before then. Nonetheless, each attempt to bring inclusivity to Star Wars has been met with backlash from a small but vocal group of Star Wars fans lamenting the saga's social justice warriors and woke approach to its latest endeavors. Yeah. It's not about the story anymore. It's not about the story anymore. It's about pushing this woke garbage on everybody. It has nothing to do with telling a good story. If you watch my series I did on Episode 7, Ruined Star Wars, it's all about how the story doesn't matter at all. The story does not matter in Episode 7, one bit. And there is no story. It's just a bunch of random crap happening, and I'm like, what the hell? I didn't understand the story at all for the first half of the movie, and then I was like, what is this now? I've started to put it together after that, but it was still just a wreck. Now some Star Wars fans are mad again, this time at a Lego set. Yeah, I love Lego. I grew up on Lego. Lego is amazing, and I don't buy any Lego today, and I wouldn't buy any Lego that had Star Wars or Marvel on the box, because I'm not going to give my money to Disney. But the thing that they're pointing out is right here, where it says Boba Fett's Starship instead of Boba Fett's Slave One. The name of the ship is Slave One. Like I said, we got to bubble wrap the world. Why is it that we can't say the word slave? Are you offended that this inanimate object has the word slave in its name? Who cares? Slavery is a reality that we live in. There's more slavery now than there ever has been in the entire history of humanity. And that reminds me, I might not be putting out very many videos in July because my day job is getting busy. So if you are one of my fans, Don't expect so much from me in the month of July. See me probably in August. I'll be back to full bore. But this is, you can't bring up anything that is remotely traumatizing to people. Slavery is a reality. We're not saying it's right. We're just called it, the name of the vehicle is Slave One. What if you had a vehicle? This is the murder tank. I mean, tanks, that's what they're for. They're for destroying things, killing troops. That's what they do. It's okay though, because their title does not have a slave tank in it. It's not called slave tank, so it's okay. You can just call it tank. It's fine. Never mind what that tank actually does. This is so ridiculous. The word slave is just, it's bad. It reminds me, there was an author a few years ago who was going to put out a book, and she had slavery in it, and people were like, oh, you can't talk about that because you're Asian, you're not black, you can't talk about slavery. And it's like, dude, there are Asians enslaved right now. There's I got to do a video on this girl. She's a North Korean refugee. Wow, the chills I got listening to her speak. It's amazing. I got to put out a video about that. As originally noted by the fan site Jedi News, the new Mandalorian-themed toy line features beloved bounty hunter Boba Fett's spaceship. However, its traditional Slave One moniker has been changed to Boba Fett's starship. Per the definitive Star Wars reference site Wikipedia, Fett's heavily modified Fire Spray 31 class patrol and attack craft formerly belonged to his father Jango, while originally built as a police craft with cells to transport criminals. Fett revamped the holding area into prisoner cages, coffin-like cabinets that were less humane but better controlled his prisoners. Speaking to Jedi News, Lego designer Michael Lee Stockwell said the toy maker was no longer using the Slave One name, with fellow designer Jens Kronvold, I'm not going to say her last name, adding, it's probably not something which has been announced publicly, but it is just something that Disney doesn't want to use anymore. Disney did not immediately respond to Yahoo's request for comment as to whether the vessel's original name will be completely scrubbed from the galaxy far, far away. However, the name Slave One is still in use on the official StarWars.com site. Slave One, a powerful pursuit craft made famous by Jango Fett in the days of the Republic. This ship was inherited by Boba Fett for his career as a bounty hunter. The aged but effective ship is loaded with hidden defensive and offensive weaponry and equipment, and has a reputation earned from decades of successfully capturing fugitives. News of the name change prompted the inevitable outcry on social media, this time spearheaded by Boba Fett himself, Mark Anthony Austin, who appeared uncredited as Fett in the 1997 updated version of Star Wars A New Hope. His only acting role, according to IMDb, the late Jeremy Bulloch, who famously embodied the character in 1980, The Empire Strikes Back, and Temuera Morrison, who played Jango Fett in the prequel trilogy and Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, are better known for their time in the iconic armor. My ship will forever be Slave One. Nothing, not even Disney, can or will change that. This is the way, tweeted Austin, who works primarily as a visualization artist. My ship will forever be Slave One. Nothing, not even Disney, can change that. This is the way, right? And there's Slave One. Nice image, by the way. Austin continued to rail against Disney in a tweet storm Monday, mocking the entertainment giant's progressive changes and calling them bullies. They are. They're bullies and they're woke, and they are about critical race theory, and they're SJWs, and they want to control the world, and they need to be stopped. This is the truth of Disney wants to control the world. I'm not joking. That's what they want. They want everything to be Disneyfied. Wars sounds harsh, says Disney. Let's change the franchise name to Star Disputes. Yeah, let's do it. Let's change it to Star Disputes. War is too harsh. What about the Death Star? I hope nobody buys this newly misnamed merchandise. I vow to not give a single dollar myself. Now, if it's packaged Slave One, I might. I wouldn't give any money to Disney, but that doesn't dent their bottom line. Me not giving them any money doesn't hurt them. It's going to take millions of people to harm them. Disney yet again with the woke identity politics crap, asking Lego to change the name Slave One to Boba Fett's ship. Stop changing stuff. It will always be Slave One, and it has never offended anyone. Right. You can say things that are bad. You can talk about things that are bad. I mean, there was a slave trade in the United States centuries ago. Well, over a century ago. It's a terrible thing. That means we got to change it. Oh, it was indentured servitude. That's what you should call this. Indentured servitude 1. Because these idiots don't know history. they would never catch it. They'd be like, what, indentured servitude, what's that? Okay, Mr. Morrison, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his first name, will reprise the role in the upcoming Disney spin-off, The Book of Boba Fett, scheduled to premiere in December. That is also when we will see his ship in action again, perhaps with a new name. This wouldn't be the first time Lucasfilm has tweaked the space opera. In 2015, the company phased out the usage of the term Slave Leia. What is it with them in slavery? Slavery is a real thing. Why do you want to avoid it? Why are you trying to erase it from history? In marketing materials describing Carrie Fisher and her metallic bikini costume while a captive of Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi. Despite the backlash from the outer rim of the internet, the rest of the social media galaxy took the name change in stride.
I'm pretty sure Boba Fett's ship is referred to as Slave 1 0 times on screen. Grown-ass people really be throwing tantrums because a label on a box is changing.
People seriously have their panties in a twist over Boba Fett's ship losing the Slave 1 name. Get a life.
This ship's name is Slave 1. It is Boba Fett's starship. Both things are true. Go outside and touch some grass.
No, this is not true anymore, you imbecile. I don't say that to be an ad hominem. I say that as a description. I guess I'm confused on the whole Slave 1 thing. Anakin and Shmi were slaves. Wookiees and other entire species were enslaved by the Empire. Slavery is an issue throughout the Star Wars saga, especially when it comes to the rights of clones like Boba. So why rename it?
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's not like it's actually called Slave 1 by name in any of the films, but it just seems odd. My first Star Wars toy vehicle was 1981 Kenner Slave 1. The name is forever burned into my brain. Ah well, Boba Fett's starship, it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, they earned me some money because I could sell my original Slave 1 with the original Slave 1 box and make more money on it because it's going to be changed now to Boba Fett's starship because they think they're so special. They think they've cracked the code to humanity. If we don't say anything about slavery, the world will be a better place. You think you're offending black people because their ancestors were historically enslaved in this country? Is that what you think by calling this Slave 1? Is that what you think is happening? Man, this is such a freaking annoyance. They gotta always make the world to be what it is they want it to be instead of making the world what it actually is. The world is harsh. The world can be very, very terrible to people. Much worse than slavery even. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. And I will see you in the next video.